What's up, everybody? I have been waiting for quite some time for Diode Dynamics to get into the side marker game of the 15 and up Dodge Chargers with these LED side markers. There's a couple other companies that kind of had a corner on the market. I really didn't like exactly what some people's experience was with those. So I had quite a few issues. I know nobody's perfect. Some people have had Diode Dynamics stuff go out, but you get a great warranty with Diode Dynamics. They got great packaging, great marketing. They may not ever be first to market with certain things, but they do spend a lot of time on quality control and trying to make sure they get them right. They want it to be right. So, with that being said, as soon as these side markers came out, I knew I needed a set. I had talked with Diode Dynamics on several other occasions about getting these things done and getting them out to market. They kept assuring me that they were on the way, and here they are. So what they did was they reached out to me and they offered to hook me up with a set to try out, to do a video and see if I liked them. Now, it's not sponsored by Diode Dynamics, but they did send me these out to try out. And part of that, they gave me some Diode Dynamics sunglasses and a couple of lanyards here. And this big ass Diode Dynamics sticker that's gonna go right here underneath HHP on my locker where I put all my stickers at. So anyhow, we're gonna go ahead, open this box up and take a look at these. It's got some instructions here. Not real worried about that. I went with the smoked side markers. The rears are gonna be your red LED, the fronts are gonna be the orange LED, but I got the smoke lens. It's gonna look pretty good on the white car. Right now I've got a light smoke tint on them, just like a stealth light smoke. So I got them a little bit smoked out, and I'm gonna smoke them out all the way. I might wind up buying some of the clear lens versions and putting those in the car. So how you'll know the front from the rears are longer. There's gonna be these two down here. The fronts are shorter, so you'll know your front from the rear. I know on the Z01 they were labeled. On these, I don't think they are. Yeah, they are right here towards the bottom, rear left hand. So they are labeled, but the rears are longer than what the fronts are. So I want to go ahead and get these bad boys installed. Like I said, it's not going to be too difficult. I've had 3 other chargers. I've taken the side markers out, or 2 other chargers. I've taken the side markers out on those 2 scat packs and had them actually painted and paint matched to match the exterior of the car. Which I may still do with these because the LED will actually shine through the paint very well. Unlike in the previous ones that I had, you just got that little spot of light towards the top of the light. And you guys that have dark tint on will know what I'm talking about with the factory bulb, how you just get light at like one little area of it. But I'm excited about these LEDs. We'll go ahead and on the front, all we should have to do, we'll walk through it, turn the steering wheel and get the inner fender back, and it's 2 Torx bits. I think they're 225s. And then on the rear, I don't know why they got you popping the bumper out and stuff in the rear. I'm not studying none of that stuff. What I'm gonna do is I'm gonna jack the rear up just a tad with a jack. I'm gonna put a jack up underneath the rear end and just get a little bit of weight off of it to where I can peel the inner fender out of the way and get to the 2 Torx for the rear. And we'll go through that here in just a second. Exactly how to install these bad boys. It's not very difficult. So this video is kind of keep the intimidation factor off of you if you're doing this stuff at home. So some of the stuff we're gonna need, these plastic pry tools. If you don't have a set, you can get on Amazon and get a set for like $5 or less. So I do recommend getting some of those. Go ahead and take these clips off, and we turn the wheel all the way to the right to do the one for the driver's side. We do the one for the passenger side, we're gonna turn it the opposite direction. That gives us access right here. Go ahead and take these push pins out. There's one right in front of the tire, this one that's right down here, the one that's right under the light, one that's right above the light, and then the one that's right above that one. don't think the camera can't get a wide enough shot. Once you get all those out, we're going to get in behind it and pull. There's a little piece here that wraps around the bumper. Just pull back, get pulled from the top, and there's your access. Okay, so T25 Torx. I've got it on a ratchet, and I've got my little palm ratchet here. So what I'm going to be using is my palm ratchet. It's just easier for me because this ratchet is messed up. It keeps wanting to go the opposite direction. And I sometimes go back and forth between the two while I'm doing this, but I can pretty much get this with this palm ratchet. Now, this is a wide body, and there shouldn't be much difference between this and a non-wide body car. It's a standard body. Both the screws is out. Move the light, and right here at the back, you just push at the back. You hit click. There's your light. Go to your box, get the one that's labeled. It says front left hand right here. And a little thing I do, these holes are not threaded. These will thread the holes, these screws, but to make it easier off the car, I'm gonna go ahead and thread these down and get threads made into the plastic to make it easier once I get it on the car, so I don't have to use as much pressure to get them. So all I do is screw it down until it's almost bottomed out. Then I'll take that screw out, and that puts cuts the threads into the plastic for me, to make it a little easier to screw these in once it's on the car. So on the front, since there's not really any restrictions up here, you can go ahead and plug it in, get it clipped to where it clipped all the way in. Make sure you pull and make sure that it's clipped in all the way. Set your light in. We're going to take your screws. And since you cut some threads into the plastic already, should be able to get them started pretty decently. And you just take your ratchet, move the fender liner out of your way. All right, we're gonna get to that question right now. How tight do you want them? Well, you took it off, so you know how tight they were. They do not need to be tight at all. They really don't. You just want to barely snug them, because if you tighten them too tight, what's probably going to happen is you're going to break the plastic tab off of the back of this. If you over tighten it, way over tighten it right around as it gets hot and cold outside, it may break the plastic tab off. It's plastic. So you can't stress plastic out too much, so just don't over tighten them. You don't want them to fall out, but I mean, it doesn't take much tightness for them not to fall out. So you get that little tab that I showed you beginning back behind the bumper, push it through, get your push back where it belongs, and then you just start down here at the bottom. Now the bottom clip is different. The one that goes right front tire down here, you see it's a little smaller. This one right here is the one that's going to go all the way where the underpan comes in over the top of the inner fender line. The rest of them, we just push them in. That's what I was saying, that one is a little different than the others. There's the light. So let's get the back one and then we'll go ahead and test it. You really should, before you put your clips back in, go ahead and test it. I'm doing this for the sake, one, of the video, two, because I know Diode Dynamics stuff is good stuff and I don't think there's gonna be any issues. But you do want to test lights and stuff before you put it back in. It ain't that difficult to get to though. Rears aren't as fun as the story as the front. They're not that easy to get to. The instructions will have you taking the bolt out of the bumper here to pull the bumper back. I didn't do that on my other non-wide body scat packs that I had when I took these marker lights out. But it would have made it easier if I did do that, because you can just take one bolt out and pull the fender away and be able to get to these screws a lot better. Now this is a wide body, so there's also a 10mm bolt that's right here that helps hold this wide body kit on. And being that it's a wide body, it gives you a little bit more space here. It's just that the tire is so much bigger than on a standard body that it has its own issues. So it's hard to hold this back and get the bolts out, but it can be done. There's just no way for me to do it and have a good camera angle to show you the whole process like I did the front. So what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna do a little bit and then come back to the camera and I'm gonna try to show you as much as I possibly can. All right. You've got this clip here, this clip right here, this one right there, and you'll just take those out and then you'll push this back. This is loose down here at the bottom. So once you get those three out, you'll be able to pull the inner fender back. This is a shot of the fender pulled back. So you can try to get to those bolts right there. As you see, there's not a whole lot of space. You have to keep steady pressure on the inside of this fender with your hand to keep it pushed back. Now, if you want to make this really easy, jack it on up and take the rear tires off. And I mean, you undo 5 lug nuts, take this tire off, you've got all the space you could possibly want. Now the instructions call for the small bolt here, right here, to be taken out, if you can see that. But when you take that out, you also have this 10mm that's up here too for the wide body kit. And I'm not messing with all that stuff. So I'm gonna continue on and get this one out and get the other one in. So unplugging the factory one's about the same thing you do on the front. And of course, go ahead and take my screws here and get them started just like I did in the front to make this a lot easier to get on while it's on the car, because you don't have very much space on this rear as what you would on the front. So about the only thing different that I would really do on the backs and the front would be I would plug this in after I got my screws in, because I don't have a lot of room, and my ratchet, when I use this ratchet, is just long enough on this bolt to catch the wire every time, so it's a pain in the butt. So if I put it in and put my 2 screws in there, or bolts, whatever you want to call them, and then plug in my light, makes it a whole lot easier on the rears. I found, just make sure when you plug this in, plug it all the way in till it snaps. When you hear it snap and click in, give it a light tug just to make sure it stayed plugged in. Rear one installed. I know I mentioned it earlier in the video. I just wanted to show you what I was talking about. I just put the jack there under the rear end, and I don't even know if you can see that it's under the rear end. Let's move this way. There we go. Now I got a double layer rubber floor mat in between the metal jack and the bottom of those fins there to help protect them. And I have done that before, even though you gotta be real careful. You do not want to break one of those fins. But all I did was just get the pressure up off of it to lift this up to give me a little bit more clearance right here to be able to get behind there. That's always worked out well for me. I even had to do that on the scat packs that I had that were standard body. So let me get the wheel straightened back up and the jack out from under it, and we'll see what. Interesting thing, I don't know if this is just my car and I need to get it figured out or what, but I was pretty sure on my two scat packs that all the marker lights came on when you locked and unlocked the doors, but let's see, I unlock them, the rears are on, the fronts are not. All right, unlock it, rears are on, fronts are not. And I was like, is this a problem with the light? So I took this one back out, put the stock one on. Stock one didn't light up. So what I have to do to get all four of them to light up, fronts and rears, is turn the lights on. So if I go to the car and I stick it in the parking light or headlights on, look at that. All four of them will light up then. Weird. Maybe it's a Hellcat thing. Maybe my other ones were like that and I just never noticed it before. So everyone that watches this that has a charger, go ahead and comment below. Do your lights work the same way? Do you have to turn on your marker lights or headlights to get the front and rear marker lights to come on? Or do all of them come on when you hit the unlock button on your key fob? Anyway, let's get a look at what these things look like. Close this door so I don't have to listen to this dinging. Look at that nice, crisp line of light. That's something that's, in my opinion, missing from other manufacturers. They have big LEDs on it, and it just, I don't know, it looks like a bunch of individual lights instead of one strip of LED. Rear, same kind of quality here. Now behind the smoke, you can see the red reflector material behind the smoke on the lights. But when they're off, they're totally dark. When they're on, you just get that nice crisp line of light. So let me turn the lights off in the garage and let's look at it. All right. That's the rear, that's the front. Let's see if I can come around. Oh yeah. Man, I love Diode Dynamics stuff. If you've got any model charger, Scat Pack or Hellcat, I mean, I would assume they should be the same. Maybe they just changed it for 2020, or maybe my car's got some sort of wiring glitch. Comment in the comments below and let me know what your car does and how it acts. So that's the video on installing these marker lights. I am super stoked that Diode Dynamics finally came out with these lights. I don't know what the holdup was, but it's probably something with R&D and wanting to make them perfect, because that's just how they are. And they continually innovate. If they find something that they feel is better to put on these lights, they'll just update them and make them a little bit better, like they do with some of their other LEDs. I've never had an issue out of their LED lights, maybe once now that I think of it. And I sent them an email and they just replaced the lights. And I'm wanting to say it's a 2 or 3 year warranty that they have on all their LED stuff. I've got videos on their interior LEDs. I got videos on another charger that I put the headlight bulbs in. I'm wanting to say I put some headlight bulbs in a Mustang that I had too, maybe. But anyway, all their stuff is great. Go check out their websites. There'll be links in the description to this kit, as well as the regular website that you can go in there and pick your car and figure out what LEDs that you want to have. Appreciate each and every one of you guys for watching. I know it's been a minute since I made a video. This COVID stuff has got everybody kind of jacked up. You can't even hardly go anywhere right now. But I promise there's more things on the way, more videos to come. Thank you guys for watching. I'm out.